I didn't catch my wife cheating. I was informed. No slammed doors, no whispers on the phone, no warning signs, no perfume that didn't belong, no whispers in the dark, just a brown envelope, no return address, left at the front desk of my office with my name typed clean across the label. Inside, a USB stick, 12 printed pages, a yellow sticky note with 4 words. She lied to both. It took me 3 hours to open it. When I finally did, I made sure I was alone, locked the office door, closed the blinds, plugged in the USB with hands that felt oddly steady. The folder opened slowly, like a wound. Screenshots, hundreds. Instagram DMs, WhatsApp messages, Signal threads, all from Camilla, none to me. I clicked through them like reading someone else's secret novel, but it was her face, her voice in the audio files, her words in the captions. I hate sleeping alone. You make me feel alive again. He thinks I'm at a retreat. Then came the files labeled Grayson. There were messages, dated back almost 3 years. Some from the same night she told me she had conferences or out-of-town therapy retreats. There were hotel room selfies, her in lingerie I'd never seen. One voice note that said, "My ex is still hanging around. It's complicated. He's not a bad guy. Just background noise now." That ex was me, her husband of 7 years. Attached to the last message was a short PDF, a personal letter, from Grayson. "Camilla and I were together for almost 3 years. She told me you were long divorced. I just found out she's still living with you, and lying to us both. She dropped me 2 months ago without warning. Something tells me I wasn't the only one. If she lied to me, chances are she's lying to you too. You deserve to know." That last line landed like a hammer, not because it hurt, but because it confirmed something cold I'd been ignoring for a long time. That night, I got home before her. I didn't confront her, I didn't scream, but I did wait. Camilla, my wife, was a licensed psychotherapist. She worked mostly evenings, said she liked to give clients quiet night space. She often came home after 10 p.m., told me it was exhausting, but meaningful. She came in around 9:40 p.m., hair tied back, dressed in black slacks and a loose cardigan, her evening client outfit. She kicked off her shoes in the hallway and looked at me sitting in the kitchen. "Long day?" I asked. She gave a tired smile. "Draining. One of those days where everyone thinks you have a magic fix." I nodded slowly. "I got something strange at the office," I said, carefully casual. "No sender, just someone wanted to share a story." Her eyes paused for half a second. Not fear, not guilt, just that flicker you get when someone does the math a beat too late. Then she smiled again, mechanical this time. "Owen, I love you, but I seriously don't have the energy for cryptic tonight," she said, brushing past. "Can we talk tomorrow?" I watched her head down the hallway toward the shower, and that's when it snapped into place. If this had been nothing, she would have asked questions. If this had been something, she would have shown fear. But Camilla? She just shut the door, because she'd done this before. I didn't sleep much that night, not out of panic, out of calculation. At 2:15 a.m., I was still at the kitchen table, mapping timelines, comparing dates, writing down everything I remembered from her retreats, her long client nights, her new gym habits, the sudden password changes. The pattern was there. I just hadn't wanted to see it, until someone else forced my eyes open. 3 days passed after the envelope. I said nothing, watched, listened. Camilla didn't act guilty. She didn't change a thing. She came home late, still used the same fake excuses, still said things like, "Therapy is so heavy lately, I'm wiped." And I'd nod. Even though I knew she wasn't doing therapy that night, she was with someone else, with some new lover or someone I didn't know about yet. At this point, it didn't matter. But part of me still wanted something, a crack, a confession, a reason to pause. So on the third evening, I tried again. She came home just after 10. I was on the couch, lights low, laptop closed. She walked in, tossed her keys in the bowl by the door, and stretched like she'd just finished a long workout. "Hey," I said, calm, even. "Hey you," she replied, smiling faintly. "You remember that weird package I got at work?" I asked. Her eyes paused, just for a blink. "Yeah, kinda. Did you ever figure out who sent it?" "It's not that important, but it had messages about you." A beat, then a shrug. "What kind of messages?" "Private ones, from someone named Grayson." This time she didn't freeze. She laughed. "Owen," she said, "I have patients named everything. Grayson, Jackson. I think I've even had a Daenerys." I didn't smile. I didn't blink. "This wasn't a patient. This one said you two were together for 3 years. She rolled her eyes, moved to the fridge, opened it like she was bored. "Babe, I don't have the energy for this tonight. I've had 5 back-to-back sessions and a migraine brewing since lunch. Can we not do this right now?" And there it was. No denial, no shock, no anger, just deflection, like I was the inconvenience. That's when something clicked, something permanent. She wasn't afraid of being caught, because in her mind, she hadn't done anything wrong. She just moved on, without ever telling me. That night, I didn't sleep either, but not because of confusion, because I had clarity. I opened a blank document and made a list. Change house locks, separate all digital logins, move legal, financial assets, open solo bank account, secure key valuables, consult lawyer, quietly, begin digital backup of shared devices. By morning, I knew what I had to do. She wasn't going to leave willingly, so I'd make it so she didn't have a place to return to. I started simple. I removed my hard drives from the shared office, took my passport, birth certificate, and documents from the drawer where we kept joint stuff. I moved them to a locked box in my car. Camilla didn't notice, or didn't care. A day later, I deactivated her access to our Netflix and bank logins. She texted me from work. "Did our Hulu expire?" I replied, "No idea. Tech's been weird lately." She left it at that. By the end of the week, I had a new bank account. Our joint account stayed open, but emptied on my side. Legally clean. I also bought a few moving boxes and began organizing my own things in the garage. Nothing dramatic. Just reorganizing. She came out once while I was sorting through some shelves. "Spring cleaning?" she asked, sipping a smoothie. "Just getting ahead of it," I said. She smiled like I was adorable, like I was harmless. It wasn't until I boxed up a few of her old therapy books that she paused. "Hey, where's my Jung reader? The one with the blue spine?" I didn't even blink. "Didn't you take that to your office?" She frowned. "Maybe. Or maybe I left it in my car." "Could be. You were moving things around last week, right?" "Yeah, maybe." And just like that, gone. She wanted to believe I was still clueless. So I let her. But the list was growing. I began transferring files from our shared cloud account to a private one. Photos, documents, backups, all sorted, tagged, preserved. Everything she had access to was slowly being erased behind the scenes. And still, she said nothing. The last straw wasn't even dramatic. It was Tuesday night. She came home late again. No text this time, no excuse. She walked in, pulled off her coat, and went straight to the bedroom. Didn't say a word to me. No kiss, no, "Hey," no, "Sorry I'm late." Just silence, as if I wasn't even there. That night, I lay in bed beside her, staring at the ceiling, listening to her breath, steady and soft like nothing was wrong. And I made a promise to myself. Next time she leaves this house, it'll be for the last time. When the moment finally came, it was quiet. No rage, no breakdown. Just a click in my head, like flipping a switch from wait to act. She didn't know it, but that Tuesday night was the last time she'd walk freely into this house. Wednesday morning, I called Stuart, the lawyer I'd held off contacting until now. I didn't want to move too early, didn't want to look reactive. But now, it wasn't reaction, it was response. Cold, calculated, precise. We met in his office just after noon. He was already waiting, papers laid out. I handed him a folder. Inside were select screenshots from the Grayson files, dated messages, hotel receipts, the printed letter. Enough to start, but not everything. Stuart flipped through it slowly, nodding, then stopped on one line. She told him she was already divorced? For 3 years, I said. We were living together the whole time. He shook his head once. That's not just infidelity. That's layered fraud. I don't care about moral wins. I want her out. Then we build this legally. No gray areas, no sloppiness. We drafted a motion for at-fault divorce on the grounds of adultery and marital deception. Stuart explained we could petition for exclusive occupancy of the house, if we could show it was no longer a shared safe space. That meant documenting her absences, tracking spending on joint accounts, showing ongoing dishonesty or manipulation. Can you prove she used joint money to fund these trips? He asked. Not yet, but I can. Then get statements. I'll issue subpoenas if needed. I nodded. And I want her exit to be final. No confrontation, no drama, just gone. Over the next 48 hours, I became a machine. I downloaded 6 months of bank statements and credit card logs, found at least 4 hotel charges that matched the dates in the messages. Each one booked under her name, each one billed to our joint card. One of them was from a weekend in April. She told me she had a training retreat out of state. I'd even helped her pack. She left me a note on the fridge that morning. Wish me luck. These retreats are so draining. Love you always. I scanned the note, filed it under Exhibits, Delusion. I also began logging her movements, not obsessively, just quietly, noting when she left, when she returned. Times she said she had therapy clients that didn't align with billing software access. Times she was at the gym when her location showed a hotel 2 towns over. She left a digital trail like a drunk deer in the snow, and I followed every step. At home, I kept the performance up. Distant maybe, but polite, predictable, unthreatening. She noticed I wasn't initiating conversations anymore. She chalked it up to me being tired or moody. She even offered to cook one night, some sudden performance of connection. I thanked her, ate quietly, washed the plate, documented the transaction on a notepad titled Normalcy Inventory, because the more normal things seemed, the more devastating it would be when the floor vanished. Then came the opportunity I'd been waiting for. Sunday night, Camilla sat across from me at the kitchen island, typing on her laptop. I might go to that 2-day meditation retreat next week, she said casually. The one in Lake Haven. Yeah, I said, not looking up. Yeah, I feel off lately, like I need a reset. I nodded slowly. Might be good for you, I said. Clear your head. She smiled. Exactly. She had no idea. That would be the last time she'd pack a bag in my house. Camilla left on a Thursday. Light overnight bag, yoga mat rolled up, canvas tote with herbal tea, and a journal she'd never write in. She kissed my cheek. Back Saturday night, she said. Call if anything comes up. I smiled. Have a peaceful reset. She drove away without looking back. I watched her taillights vanish down the street and checked the clock. 9:12 a.m. The moment her car turned the corner, I began. Step 1. Locks. Stuart had already filed the legal petition for exclusive occupancy. While that was still pending, I had the right to change locks as long as notice was served. And it would be. I'd hired a locksmith 2 days earlier under the name O. Caldwell. He arrived at 10 o'clock sharp. Digital lock installation, keypad, personalized access code. By 10:40 a.m., her house key was useless. I took a picture of the door, new lock shining, and emailed it to Stuart with the subject line, timestamp, access revoked. Step 2, her belongings. I didn't toss anything, no garbage bags, no slamming drawers. I boxed her items room by room, folded clothes, labeled boxes, took photos, Left nothing open to accusation. I rented a storage unit in her name, prepaid for 6 months. At 1 p.m., I moved everything there and dropped a sealed envelope inside the unit containing the storage address, the access code, a copy of the motion for divorce, a notarized list of transferred items, a cover letter that read, "All of your belongings are safe and untouched. You are no longer welcome at the residence. Please direct all communication through legal counsel." I signed it with my full name. Step 3. Digital separation. I removed her email from the utility bills, canceled all shared subscriptions, redirected mail to a P.O. box. I backed up our shared photos and deleted her cloud access. Her profile disappeared from every device in the house like it had never existed. Step 4. Silence. She texted around 4:30 p.m. that day. "Spotty signal up here, just checking in. All good?" I didn't reply. That night I slept with the windows open, clean sheets, a room that finally felt like mine. Saturday came. She texted at noon. "Heading back soon. Can't wait to shower and crash." I didn't go anywhere. I turned off the lights, closed the blinds, left no car in the driveway. The house looked empty, but I was home. Standing in the hallway, quiet, waiting. At 5:17 p.m. the first knock, then the second, harder. Then a buzz of texts one after another. "Owen, what's going on? My key isn't working. Open up. Is this a joke?" I stood by the door, not hiding, just watching her shadow through the frosted glass. She tried the handle again, then pounded with the side of her fist. "Owen, open the goddamn door!" Her voice was sharp, high-pitched, not scared, insulted. That told me everything I needed to know. She didn't feel remorse. She felt inconvenienced. I unlocked the deadbolt with a slow, deliberate click. The door creaked open, only a few inches, enough for her to see my face. She blinked, startled by the calm in my eyes. "What the hell is this?" she asked, voice tight. I didn't raise mine. "You don't live here anymore." Her eyebrows jerked upward. "Excuse me? Your things are in a storage unit. I left the address and code in an envelope with your name on it." I watched the confusion morph into indignation. "Owen, what are you doing?" "What I should have done months ago." "You can't just—" "I already did." I paused. "If you have questions, direct them to your attorney." Her mouth opened like she had more to say. A protest, a plea, maybe another lie. But nothing came out. Just a scoff. She stepped closer, tried to push the door wider. I didn't budge. She looked me in the eye one last time, and I looked right back, steady, unmoved. Then I closed the door, gently, without a word. The text started within minutes of closing the door. First came the confusion. "Owen, what is this? This isn't funny. You can't just lock me out of our house?" Then the tone shifted. "We need to talk. Be an adult. You're overreacting. I don't know what someone told you, but it's not what you think." Still no apology. Still no, "I'm sorry." Just redirection. I didn't reply. Not because I was unsure, because I wanted everything documented. Each message, each threat, each spin, proof. By 9 p.m. she stopped texting. By 10:30 she started again. But now the gloves were off. "So you're just going to ignore me like a child? Grow up, Owen. This is abuse. You've always been cold. Now everyone will see it." I took screenshots, organized by time, date, and category. Gaslighting, guilt trip attempts, emotional manipulation, personal attacks. At 12:17 a.m., "No one will ever love you the way I did. Good luck finding someone who'll put up with your sad little ego." I didn't react, didn't even blink. I was already past anger. I was in the part of the storm where it's quiet and dangerous. Sunday afternoon, she escalated. Camilla showed up at Chris's place, my best friend. Camilla knew Chris. We'd been close since college. He was my best man at our wedding. Anytime things got tense at home, he was my quiet retreat. She hated that. Hated that he knew me in ways she couldn't spin. So when I stopped answering her messages and the door wouldn't open, she did what narcissists do best. She followed the old trail, straight to the one person who'd never buy her act. He texted me first, then called. "She's pacing outside, says she wants to talk to you." "What did you say?" "I told her you weren't here." She laughed, said she knew you'd run to me. "Anything else?" Pause. "Yeah," he said. She said, "I just want to remind him what he's walking away from." That one line hit me sideways, not because it worked, but because it didn't. It sounded like a sales pitch from someone who didn't realize the buyer left the building a year ago. By Monday, she went silent. No texts, no voicemails, no knocks on the door. But I knew Camilla. She wasn't quiet. She was plotting. So I checked her Instagram. Private account. New profile picture. A carefully posed mirror selfie. Makeup perfect. Soft lighting. Fake vulnerability. The caption? "Healing isn't pretty, but pretending everything was fine was worse." Translation: I lost control, so now I'll repaint the narrative. And the comments were exactly what she wanted. "You're so brave. I'm proud of you for walking away. Some men just can't handle a strong woman." I didn't reply. Didn't defend myself. Because truth doesn't need defending. It just needs documenting. On Tuesday, I got an unexpected call. Human Resources. My company. They asked me to come in for a conversation. I already knew. 3 people sat across from me in a small conference room. 2 supervisors and 1 compliance officer. They slid a printed report across the table. "We received an anonymous complaint," one of them said. "It alleges you've been exhibiting unstable behavior and using company time to harass your spouse." I read the page slowly. Vague phrases, no dates, no specifics. Just enough buzzwords to trigger an internal review. I looked up calmly. "Does it say who submitted this?" They exchanged glances. "It's anonymous." I nodded once. "You don't have to tell me. I already know." They were required to follow procedure. Performance review, observation, check-ins. I played along, passed everything. By Friday, the complaint was dismissed, but the intent was clear. She wasn't just fighting back. She was trying to poison the edges of my life. When she couldn't win inside the marriage, she tried to burn everything outside it. I updated Stuart, my lawyer. He told me to keep logging everything. Screenshots, voicemails, social media captions, the HR complaint. Because now this wasn't just about a divorce. It was about a pattern, a trail, and eventually, a courtroom. I thought I'd seen the whole picture, the messages, the lies, the fake therapy retreats. But I was wrong. I hadn't seen how deep it went. It started with a Facebook message from a blank account. No profile picture, no name, just a burner. "You don't know half of what she's done." That was the entire message. No greeting, no context. I stared at it for a minute, then typed back, "Who is this?" No answer. Then a file came through. A zip folder, dozens of screenshots, labeled, organized, time-stamped. Conversations, photos, audio clips, all with Camilla. But this wasn't Grayson. This was someone new. The messages dated back 2 years. They were emotional, yes, but also sexual, intimate, planned. Vacations, promises, videos of her in the same house I lived in, just framed to crop me out. And the man she was sending them to? His name was Derek. I messaged him directly. "Did you know about the others?" He replied almost immediately, "What others?" That's when I knew. This wasn't a one-time affair, wasn't an escape, wasn't weakness. It was a lifestyle. She had built a rotating system of men, each thinking they were the real one. We started talking, compared timelines, shared notes. He told me she'd claimed I was her emotionally abusive ex, that we were only living together for practical reasons while she rebuilt her life. She'd told him we slept in separate rooms. She said I refused to let go. Meanwhile, she was still coming home to my bed, eating dinner at my table, wearing my name. 2 days later, I got a call, not a message, not a threat, a full-on phone call. Unknown number. I picked up, expecting spam. "Is this Owen?" a cautious voice said. "Who's asking?" "Brandon." "You're Camilla's husband?" he asked. "Ex-husband," I said flatly. "Pending paperwork." Silence. "She told me you two were separated, that you hadn't lived together in over a year." I nearly laughed. "We shared a bed 2 weeks ago." He exhaled, sharp, bitter. Jesus Christ. He started talking. Once he opened up, it poured out of him. Dinners, weekend trips, stories she told him about me. He thought he was the man, the future. He was planning to introduce her to his parents. She said she'd never felt this way before. Said I was her past, and he was her peace. I told him about Grayson, about Derek, about the timelines, the lies, the system. Long pause on the line. Then he said, "I think we need to talk, all of us." So we did. We met at a small cafe outside the city. Neutral ground. We brought screenshots, dates, messages. Each man pulled out his truth like evidence in a trial. What we saw was staggering. She'd created 4 different lives. To Brandon, she was the brave divorcee, healing from trauma. To Derek, she was the loyal girlfriend waiting for the final signature. To Grayson, she was a lost romantic rebuilding trust. To me, I was the stable fallback, the legal anchor, the home base she returned to when the fantasy fell apart. We agreed on one thing. She couldn't be allowed to walk away from this with a fake halo and a curated Instagram caption. She needed to be confronted, not with yelling, not with violence, but with truth. So we made a plan. We didn't want to fight. We wanted clarity. We wanted her to see what it looked like when the mask cracked in front of witnesses. It was Brandon who suggested the location. She still went to the same gym every week. A boutique studio where she posted mirror selfies with captions like, "Healing isn't linear," and "Working on myself, for myself." Derek confirmed her schedule. I suggested we keep it public, visible, safe, and undeniable. We coordinated by group chat. Brandon told her he booked a couple's massage. Derek said he wanted to grab brunch and talk. I stayed silent. She confirmed both meetings separately. Smiling emoji. No suspicion. Of course she didn't. She still thought she was the smartest person in the room. Saturday, 11:42 a.m. We stood outside the gym. Sidewalk, neutral ground. 3 of us. Silent, calm. Brandon wore sunglasses. Derek had a folder in his hand. I had nothing, just the memory of what she'd done. She walked out a minute later, yoga bag slung over one shoulder, hair in a high bun, smile on her face, probably rehearsing whatever script she planned to run with. Then she saw us, all 3, standing together, not speaking. Her smile broke mid-formation. Steps slowed. She stopped 5 feet away, eyes darting between us. "What is this?" Brandon spoke first, calm, measured. "Thought it was time we compared notes." Derek raised his phone, tapped the screen, held it up. "You told me you loved me." She let out a short, breathy laugh. "Oh my God. Are you serious with this?" She tossed her hair like we were college kids pulling a prank. "You guys are being ridiculous." I stayed silent, watched her face. She turned to me, cold, like I was her ex-boss, not her husband. "Really, Owen? You're behind this?" I met her eyes, steady. "Number you are." Long silence. Brandon crossed his arms. "So, want to explain?" Camilla tried to smile again, a little softer this time, like she was above it. "Look, I don't know what stories you've all been trading, but this, it's harassment." Derek tilted his head. "Call the police then." Another pause. She didn't move, didn't reach for her phone. Just stood there, breathing sharp through her nose. She wasn't guilty. She was cornered. For the first time, she didn't get to shape the moment. She couldn't divide us, couldn't manipulate silence. We gave her a gift she'd never given any of us. Truth, in public, without escape. Her eyes burned, jaw clenched. Then, wordlessly, she turned, walked away. No tears, no apologies, no redemption, just retreat. Stewart, my lawyer, called it the cleanest dirty case he'd seen in years. 3 witness statements, screenshots with metadata, voice recordings, timeline charts, social media backups, everything labeled, organized, cross-referenced. Derek and Brandon agreed to submit written declarations. They were honest, specific, and damning. Each detailed their relationship with Camilla, how long it lasted, what she said, the photos, the dates, the lies. One line from Brandon's affidavit stuck with me. She didn't just lie, she built alternate lives. I didn't fall in love with her. I fell in love with a character she was performing. Camilla tried to stall, filed a counterclaim, claimed emotional abuse, financial intimidation, and marital neglect. But without dates, without details, just noise. Stewart tore it apart in deposition. The court ruled fast. Divorce finalized. Joint assets split proportionally, with her share reduced due to deception. She walked away with less than she came with. No closure, no Instagram victory post, no staged photos of healing tea and yoga mats. Just silence. She tried to post a long caption a few weeks later. Some people show their true colors when you stop dancing for them. I'm choosing peace. Once it came out that one of her affairs had been with a former patient, her license didn't last long. The ethics board moved quickly and quietly. She was no longer allowed to practice. She tried to claim it was consensual and after treatment ended. But the messages overlapped. Too many dates, too many blurred lines. They pulled her license quietly. No press, no hearing, just gone. A few months later, she moved across state lines, set up a new website under a new name, Somatic Healing and Feminine Awakening. No credentials listed, just vague slogans and sunset stock photos. As for the other men, they didn't owe me anything, but they showed up anyway. Some apologized, and I was grateful. They were just as lied to as I was. Some for years. We didn't bond, we didn't stay in touch, but for one moment, we stood on the same ground and made her face it. That was enough. As for me, I kept the house, sold her car, and I finally stopped asking why. Because the answer doesn't matter when the lie is the entire story. She played 4 roles. We just compared scripts, and she was never the author she thought she was.